I'm Kat.
And I'm Hayley.
And this is Night Classy,
a tipsy night class teaching the oddities and curiosities you never learned in school.
Where are you taking us on this learning journey, Hayley?
We will be going down memory lane to probably the worst part of school. I know for you and me, definitely. And that would be not lunch. Even
that was
worse.
my worst part of school. I didn't want to.
Why?
Because I was scared of socializing.
Well, yeah, okay. I totally get that. It's so intimidating.
It is.
Not lunch. It's even worse than lunch. Think. What do we hate to do?
Exercise.
Yes.
PE.
Physical education.
Ooh.
We're learning about the history of it.
What does that sound?
I don't know. Oh,
something
is
is
my
talking.
laptop. Oh, I thought it was something Alex
it's a
was
ghost.
doing.
I know. I thought he was playing a trick on us.
And Ad just started playing.
What do you have pulled
anyway,
up? Stop watching Netflix while we record.
It's a listicle about muscle milk.
Ew.
Well, no,
that is
listicle,
the worst name of a product ever.
No, I think there could be worse.
I
it
don't
could be
know.
like
Groin
muscle
milk?
mommy.
I feel like anything with the word milk in the title is disgusting, and then you throw a body part into it. It sounds like you're squeezing the juice out of a
you're
body
getting
part.
the milk out of your muscles.
Yeah.
Instead of milk for your muscles.
I know. It's disgusting, and I hate it.
But those are pretty good, the muscle milks.
I've never had one because they gross me out.
Oh my God. Anything milk.
I know. I can't do it. I also just don't like protein shakes in general. I don't like the way they feel in my mouth.
Yeah, they do kind of leave a
residue.
Film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Disgusting.
Yeah, need a dusting.
And like for some reason, they won't sweeten them with real sugar. I guess because if you're drinking a protein drink, you want to be healthy. But then they taste like that fake sugar stuff. And I hate that. It's gross.
Tommy told me about a time one of his friends in college used to work out all the time in high school and was constantly drinking protein shakes. And then he stopped working out in college and kept drinking the protein shakes and just put on so much
and it's
weight.
Like in Mean Girls when she's eating calcium bars to lose weight.
He's like, why am I gaining so much weight?
Oh, gee.
I don't know.
You're drinking 800 calories a day. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you teaching us today?
I have a lesson of what happens when legend and folklore meet reality, and these two things get wound up together in the historical record, and it becomes hard to tell truth from fiction. And what you have in the end is a man who's been dubbed the world's first serial killer.
Ooh, okay. Is it H.H. Holmes?
No,
it?
you heard me practicing his name for like 5 minutes
him.
before.
I still don't know.
Gilles de Rais. Which reminds me of Gilderoy Lockhart. Not that
is that?
either of you are Harry Potter people, so never mind.
Well,
I know
sorry, everyone.
I know the reference.
Okay, thank you, Alec.
Me either. Man, it's like all the things you love most. I'm just like,
Yeah, you
Taylor
really hate all my
Swift,
interests.
Harry Potter. How
fine.
did we become friends?
I don't know. What did we talk about? We both were really into The Office at the time we met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I still am.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I don't watch it as much anymore, but every now and then I'll put on cable, on YouTube TV where it has commercials and you just pick whatever's on. And I always pick The Office. And it's very comforting to watch The Office with commercials.
Such a throwback.
I know. It feels like going in a time machine.
And it's just on Peacock now, if I'm correct.
Yeah, except I recorded it on, I subscribed to it on YouTube TV. So I have every episode recorded.
Oh my God. I need that. I just need to get it on Blu-ray. Let me get it on tape.
Yeah, you should have it on tape. That would be good for you. We just got to, speaking of shows we record on YouTube TV, we just got to Scandival on Vanderpump Rules, which is another one of my interests that you don't care about.
I'm nodding and waving.
Somebody cares. And man, those reunion episodes are another breed. Nobody does reunion episodes like Bravo. It's very cathartic.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Thank you. It's a big day.
I just stay rewatching the same old shit. I have to be convinced to do new things.
Well, be convinced to watch Vanderpump Rules, because I've spent the last 6 months watching Vanderpump Rules in order to get to this moment and have the big payoff with Scandival, and it was very worth it.
I only watch reality TV with you. It's
And
a
I'm honored for
conditional
that.
environment I have to be in.
However, Vanderpump Rules, at least the first 3 seasons plus Scandival, is way better reality TV than anything we watched together.
I am excited for Bachelor to come back. Like, I want to see my friends again.
I know. I'm excited to hang out with you guys, but like, Bachelor, it's okay. It's good. I like it, and I'll keep watching it no matter what. But compared to Bravo shows, it's a little boring.
It's tough going back, folks.
It's
back
once
to our
you
roots.
get a taste of the good stuff,
Yeah.
it's hard to go back to drinking
It's like
grape
coming
juice.
home for the
Mhm.
first time in college, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to see you guys, but I don't want to be here.
I want to go do what I want to do. And what I want to do is watch Vanderpump
Illegal.
Rules. Anyway, we have a cocktail hour.
We do indeed. This upcoming Friday, May the 3rd, all patrons are welcome. We hang out for about an hour or so. You don't have to stay the whole time. Sometimes it goes even longer, but we just hop on Zoom, hang out. All patrons get the link, and
It's at 7 p.m. Central, first
Yes,
Friday of every month. And speaking of housekeeping, we also released our live show recording last week. And thank you all for everyone who attended for one, and B, anyone who just listened to it on the recording. We had a lot of fun. We're really grateful for Brittany Brave that she could join us. And it was a good experience.
indeed it was. Looking forward to doing it again next year, maybe before then. Maybe Night Classy will really take off, and we'll get all these ad deals, and we'll go on tour.
Oh my God. Give
European
me those
tour.
ad deals.
What company would you be so excited to do ads
HelloFresh,
for?
obviously.
HelloFresh. I want to do one for like really good sheets. You know,
those
like
two.
some bamboo, maybe eucalyptus sheets.
I would love some good sheets. And also, Game of Roses does ads for Vanderpump Villa, which obviously I would want to plug that.
Absolutely. Maybe some Chewy, get some like pet deals going.
yeah.
I think that would be
Or
apropos.
BarkBox. I always want BarkBox, but George doesn't really play with toys that much, so I can't justify the price for myself.
Sure.
But I want
Sure.
one.
Yeah.
I want one.
Subscription boxes are the fucking best.
They're just good.
They're just good. It's like when you get mail.
It's like
you
a
know?
gift to yourself.
It's amazing.
And when you subscribe to it, you forget that you did. And then it's a surprise.
Right. And then I see my bank account and I'm like, what?
Yeah. That's
It's a
the other
surprise
surprise.
on both ends.
Yeah.
People are going to think this is like ad integration.
No,
And they're
no,
going to be like,
no,
oh my
no.
God, I got to fast forward again.
If you want ad integration, you have to tell everyone you know about this show. And then we'll build up like a pyramid scheme.
That just makes them not want to tell anyone about
Oh,
it.
tell everyone, please. I want money.
Give me money. All right. Well, yes, join us for Cocktail Hour this Friday, May the 3rd. It's insane that it's May already, but
No.
whatever. And I think that's about it.
Yeah, are you ready for my lesson?
I am.
Okay, I'm going to start by summarizing a very famous French folktale for you. This is the legend of Bluebeard. Do you know this story?
Nope.
It was recorded in 1895 by Charles Perrault, and I put it into my own words. It's much longer than what I'm going to go over here with you, but the story starts that there's this rich man named Bluebeard, and he wants to find a wife, but he has a blue beard. And this is really scary and ugly, apparently. I guess it was before the time of hair dye.
It
so
sounds
it was kinda
beautiful.
weird.
It seems
I
like
know.
it would make him different and attractive and mysterious.
Like a wizard. And he's
Yeah.
also like fucking rich. Like a rich man with a blue beard sounds cool as hell, but apparently no one wanted to marry him. But eventually he finds a young woman willing to marry him because he takes her and her mom and sister and all their friends on this very lavish 1-week vacation. And after that, the story says that his beard started to look less blue to her, which...
Uh-oh. Did it get rubbed off?
No, she just had
Oh.
these rose-colored glasses on from this like fancy vacation that canceled out the blue.
She's like, I don't know. It's looking more gray blue
yeah,
now.
I can live with this. After they get married, Bluebeard has to go on a work trip for 6 weeks, and he leaves his new wife in charge of the estate. before he leaves, he's like, I don't want to leave you all alone. Like, you can have all your friends over. I have these apartments in my villa. They can stay. You guys can enjoy the luxuries. It can be a girls' weekend. So
Great.
fun. He gives her a set of keys, and there's a key to open every room in the house. And most of the rooms, he's opening doors with the keys and showing her rooms full of like finery, like silver and gold and tapestries. And he's like, and you can go in this one and do this, and you can go in this one and like wear this jewelry.
Be like, this is where I store all of my ranch, and this is where I store all of my boxed wine.
This is the cat room. This
It's full of litter boxes.
There's one key, however, that unlocks the small closet at the very end of the house. And he tells her the only thing you cannot do is use this key to open that closet. That's the only place in the house that's off limits. Do not go in there or I will be very, very, very angry.
So either he's dumb or he wants her to open the closet.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's what she needs to do now.
Well, clearly. So he leaves, the friends come over, and the whole time she's sitting with her friends, and the only thing she can think about is what's in that closet. So she sneaks away from the group, goes to the closet door, and she opens it.
It's blue dye.
Just a bunch of purple shampoo.
Yeah.
In the room, there are several dead bodies. They are Bluebeard's previous wives, and he had slit their throats and left them to rot in the closet.
She was like, I didn't smell a thing.
Right. You'd think the whole house would smell, but I guess maybe the smell of like fine food and silver and gold overpowers it.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, of course. The smell of death is very easily masked with gold.
Right. Metallic-y. You know.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what
like
I mean.
blood.
Yeah.
Iron,
There- same thing.
copper, gold.
She freaks out. She slams the door and then goes to lock it back up. But when she looks down at the key, she realizes that the key that locks that door is now covered in blood. And she's like, oh, fuck, how'd that happen? So she's scrubbing the key off in the sink. She's like scraping it on tile, like trying to scrape
What?
the blood off, just like because it won't come off.
How did it even get on there?
Well, the key is enchanted. Since she opened this closet,
sure. Yeah.
there's blood on it and there's nothing she can do to get it off. So she's like, fuck. A few weeks later, her husband gets home and she's like, hey, honey. She gives him the bundle of keys and he looks at the keys and he's like, where's the one for the closet? And she's like, oh, haha, like that one must have fallen off. I think it's in my room. I'll go get it. She's like, fuck. So she goes in her room and gets the key. It's still covered in blood. And she brings it to him and he's like, LOL, like, I can clearly tell you opened the closet when I told you not to. And so now you need to go in that closet with the others because I have to kill you now, clearly.
Okay.
Yeah. And this whole scene ensues where he's trying to kill her. She buys herself some time. Luckily, like just in the nick of time, her brothers show up as he's like about to, like he's holding up a knife ready to slash her.
We're not doing anything. We're just, this is foreplay.
we like it. And they kill Bluebeard. She inherits the whole estate and lives happily ever after.
Hey, and
Girl
she
boss.
gets the dead bodies.
Yeah.
Boil them down, free skeletons.
Keep those skulls, baby. There are a lot of similar folklores to Bluebeard from many other cultures around the world, but it's believed that this one in particular may have been inspired by a man named Gilles de Rais, who's been called history's first serial killer. And trigger warning before I move on, he's a serial killer.
He's the worst.
Yeah.
He commits homicide.
He raped and murdered a lot of children. So if you're sensitive to that, which hopefully we all are to some degree, but if you're like really sensitive,
This is a litmus test.
maybe don't listen. So Gilles de Rais was born in 1404, around 1404. We're not entirely sure, but that's our best guess.
Wait, what year?
1404.
Okay,
this is a
thank you.
long time ago.
It's hard to even fathom, really.
It didn't.
As
it
far as
didn't
I'm
exist.
concerned,
This
nothing is
this
real.
Is all
Nothing
folktale.
is real.
1404 to a noble family in Western France. And I just thought this was a fun fact. The room he was born in is called the Black Tower.
Ooh, and
Or
it's
Game of
just a
Thrones.
room.
Yeah. Well, it's a tower, a room in a tower.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense. I'm just saying, and it should make sense.
By all accounts, he was a very bright child. He enjoyed learning about military strategies and spoke fluent Latin. When Gilles was around 10, his father died in what's described as a violent hunting accident, and it's possible that Gilles was there to witness it. So, possible some trauma. Not long after, his mother also died, and so he was left an orphan. Gilles and his siblings were then raised by their maternal grandfather, and as he matured, Gilles became a little bit ill-tempered, a little bit hot-headed. I mean, he had a hard childhood, so...
And he was just a teenager.
Right.
You know?
Anyone.
It
We
comes
were
with
all
it.
ill-tempered and
And when
hot-headed.
did therapy start? Surely not in
like
the 1400s.
5 years ago. Yeah. So all of these things kind of made him unpleasant to be around, but the good thing is that they made him really, really good at fighting, which was lucky for him because he would do a lot of fighting.
Healthy.
Mhm.
Great.
His grandfather arranged a marriage for him with Catherine de Tours of Brittany. She was very wealthy, so Gilles, he was already noble, but now he has a lot of money. Unluckily, though, her estate was located in an area that Britain and France were fighting over. This was the time of the 100 Years' War, which is when Britain and France were squabbling over their territory. It went on, like the title says, for like a century. They're both trying to establish their kingdoms, whatever.
What if it went on just for like 2 years?
It just felt like 100 years.
So long.
Probably did. It probably felt like 1,000. Being her husband, Gilles got roped into this conflict. But he was a great fighter, so it was no problem. He defended the land really well, and he was even able to expand their properties. And it wasn't long before he was one of the richest, most powerful feudal lords in France. He had a reputation for spending lavishly on his estate. He liked the finer things in life, but his reputation as an expert warrior was even greater. That's what he was known for. It was so great that when Joan of Arc came onto the scene, Gilles was asked by King Charles VII of France to basically be her personal bodyguard on the battlefield.
Dang, okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy how so much of history, at least that gets reported, is just fighting and wars.
Yeah, because
and
men
soldiers.
wrote down history, and that's what they cared about. It's really annoying.
It's really annoying, specifically for this podcast.
Yeah, because you know what's boring to read about? Is
wars
battles.
and battles.
Really fucking boring. I want to know what people were eating for breakfast and what time they went to bed.
I want to know weird tools for makeup and whatnot.
Yeah, I want to know the gossip. I don't want to know who won what battle where and what year. That's so boring.
Absolutely.
And I say that as a history major.
No impact on how we got here today.
None at all.
It's not relevant.
So, like, I knew who Joan of Arc was, but I didn't really know a lot about her. Do you know a lot about her story?
No, I didn't know she was a she-her.
Oh. Well, she's definitely a woman. That's like the main thing. But I just want to give you...
Okay, names, especially in the 1400s, Joan could easily be a man's name.
Okay, but you telling me you don't know she's a woman tells me you don't know who she is.
I don't know anything.
It sounds familiar
to you. And that's good for you. Okay. Yeah, I know the name.
I know all about him.
He was a great philanthropist.
Okay, I didn't know much about her either, and she definitely deserves her own learning journey. But I do want to give a quick overview of her story, just in case you're like one of us and don't know a lot about her and don't know what an important honor it was for him to be her protector. Joan of Arc started her life out as an illiterate peasant girl. She was not born into any kind of status, but she was really, really pious. Her mother taught her about Catholicism and she loved God. When she was 13, she started hearing these divine voices telling her it was her God-given mission to get the English out of France and install Charles as the rightful king and to establish France as a kingdom.
Oh my God, I would have been like, sorry, angels, that sounds hard.
That's a little too much for me
Not
at 13.
Me.
When she was about 16 years old, she managed to get to Charles, which was a whole journey in and of itself. She had to convince a lot of people along the way that she was legit and she really was chosen by God in order to even be able to speak to him.
Oh, she would have been such a good cult leader.
She would have
just imagine.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say a good like door-to-door salesman, and I was like, you're right, but cult leader as well.
Same, but different.
She basically was a cult leader. She kind of amassed a group of followers that sort of helped like build her
pyramid scheme
reputability when she's like talking to all these men in charge. It's like, okay, like she has followers that are willing to listen to her. Maybe I should listen to her. She goes to Charles. She tells him what she's been ordered by God to do. And at first he's like, who is this child telling me to give her an army so she can defeat the British? Like, what the fuck? So he brings in a bunch of holy people and priests and everyone to listen to her story and tell him if she's legit, if she really was sent by God. And the verdict all around is she's the real deal. So the King of France gives this 16-year-old peasant girl her own army and is like, okay, defeat the British.
I'm so impressed.
Yes. It's amazing.
Okay. Go off, Joan of Arc.
So
female.
Yes, a woman. Gilles' job was to go with her and protect her. And he did, as she won a bunch of battles. And he fought alongside her in all these battles as she just like took land back from the British one by one by one. They get to her biggest battle, which is the Siege of New Orleans. New Orleans is under siege by the British. The British are surrounding the city. They're starving them out. They've been doing this for a while, so they're like about to take the city. And Joan of Arc rolls up and does what no other French army has been able to do, which is like kill them all and get them the fuck out of there and take New Orleans back.
Okay, so she's a badass.
Yes. After this battle, Gilles was elevated to the position of Marshal of France, which is the highest distinction you could get in the military because he's fighting alongside France's greatest hero at this point. Unfortunately, though, Gilles failed to protect Joan in the spring of 1430. They had been sent to defend a town called Compiègne, which was under siege. Capiche? I don't know how to say it. Compiègne. Joan was thrown off of her horse outside the city gates, like as they were closing, because they had been like, the people in the city had been trying to let the French in. And then she gets thrown off, like in the chaos, is left outside of the city gates and captured. While Joan of Arc was a hero and all of France believed she was a hero, she had also committed the atrocity of cutting off her hair and wearing men's clothing. So this made her a witch.
Yeah, easily a witch.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think we were gonna go there. I thought it was just like she was possessed by the devil.
Well, probably
which is
that
witch.
too.
Yeah, okay, it's witch.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's
witch.
part of being a witch.
Also, happy Beltane.
Yeah, happy Beltane. So she, while she's a hero, she's also like in religious circles, kind of getting the side eye, and she's also charged with witchcraft along with other things when she's captured.
You can't be Christian and have a boy's haircut.
No, it's ungodly. She's demon possessed. So King Charles fucking owes her. She is the reason that the French come out on top of this 100 Years' War. She is the reason he gets to be King of France. But he wants to distance himself from her because of her reputation as a witch. So he refuses to negotiate for her release. The British probably would have given her back in exchange for other prisoners, but he refuses to even hear them out. So she's burned
just
at the
because
stake.
she's a witch. She's burned at the stake.
She's burned at the stake. Yeah.
I'm speechless.
I can't believe you've never heard this story. You're shocked right now that Joan of Arc was burned at the stake when that is like wild.
This is truly a lesson I did not learn in school.
Well, now you
When
did.
did you learn it?
I don't know. I feel like it's just like
around
kind of common knowledge, like how Henry VIII cut his wives' heads off. Like it's just kind of, it's like a
Henry
very
the
famous
Eighth?
story. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what? What does Henry VIII have? Wait,
never mind.
He's the one who burned Joan of Arc?
No, we're moving on. So
I can't tell if you're joking or not, Hayley.
Hayley.
I know that, but what does he have to do? You mentioned him before?
No. You know, like Henry VIII is a very famous king because he killed a bunch of his wives.
Yes.
And like changed the country's religion so that he could remarry.
Yeah.
It's like something like that everyone knows.
Oh,
like
I thought you
also
were
knows
saying
Joan of
he was
Arc.
related to the Joan of Arc story directly and that you hadn't mentioned him.
No. Sorry if that was confusing.
It was for me.
So eventually the French won the war and Gilles took a step back from military service. And now he has some more time on his hands. He becomes obsessed with religion and his own salvation. So he financed the construction of a lavish chapel called Chapel of Holy Innocents. And for a rich lord, Gilles seemed like weirdly preoccupied with hand selecting the young boys he wanted for the boys' choir in this chapel. Usually you'd think that's something you'd delegate out when you're a wealthy lord, but he made this his little pet project. He was also spending more money than he was making. He made some bad investments, including a 150-actor play about Joan of Arc and the Siege of New Orleans. So he has a lot of debts and he needed to turn things around. So he met with a financial advisor. Just kidding. He didn't.
I was going to say, wow, they had financial advisors back then.
No, he met with sorcerers and alchemists.
Hell yeah. Yeah, of course
That's
you
probably
do.
who I would seek out before a financial
That's what
advisor.
I need to do. Spending more than you have. Yup. Check. Been there.
Allegedly, these professionals urged him to do elaborate occult rituals, including human and child sacrifice, in order to evoke a demon named Baron who would help him with his finances.
Baron would be a demon's name. There's just something about it.
Well, it's Baron Trump, I think, is why that sounds like a demon. Not that a child is a demon.
No.
But maybe that name is just tainted.
Baron or Baron?
Baron.
Okay.
Baron. All this human sacrifice stuff was like no problem for Gilles because he had been murdering children for years. Rumors had long been swirling that children around Gilles' castles were going missing.
It's just the crocodiles in the moat getting a little snacky.
They're just runaway. They just like they wanted a better life. They hit the road.
Oh gosh.
And those who entered his servitude were never seen or heard from again because it was really common at this time to like send your children into service in the castle in the hopes that they could eventually like get promoted and have a better life. And a lot of times these people didn't come back. Like the world was a lot more spread out back then. You couldn't as easily travel, but it was weird that like nobody ever saw their kids again. And because he was like going after mainly peasant children and he was of such high status, everyone around him who could have done something looked the other way, and people whose children were taken were scared to report it.
It's devastating. It's just another version of the same story that gets repeated.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. And all of this like went on without consequence until 1440, when Gilles kidnapped a church cleric over like some argument they were having. I don't know, but he
just kidnapped him.
He kidnapped him, and because of this, now the church launches an investigation of him. This was the final straw.
That's
apparently.
too far.
Yeah.
Murdering children.
That's okay.
We'll look the other way.
Well,
there's way too many of them.
But I draw the line at kidnapping a church cleric.
Not my cleric.
This investigation of him was really quick to reveal that from his years in the military through his present life, he had kidnapped and raped dozens and dozens of children, primarily boys. And the details that came out in this trial were truly horrifying. I'm not going to repeat the worst of it, but there were many people who were willing to testify against Gilles. His servants admitted that they were often instructed to go into nearby towns and enlist peasant children as like servants or scribes, and then bring them back to Gilles to do what he wanted with them. Witnesses recalled seeing Gilles' servants disposing dozens of children's bodies outside one of his castles in 1437. And one furrier told the court that Gilles' cousin once borrowed his 12-year-old apprentice, and the boy was never seen again. These stories are countless. Like, peasants told the court that their children had entered the castle to beg and never returned home. Like, it seems like everyone had some kind of story or knew somebody who had their child go missing in the castle. After being threatened with torture, Gilles admitted to killing and raping the children. He also allegedly claimed that he enjoyed cutting them open and watching their entrails glisten.
Ugh.
Oh, so
Yeah,
he's
so he's
like
a freak.
sadistic.
Oh, yeah. So at the end of his 5-day trial, Gilles de Rais was found guilty of criminal murder and unnatural vice with children and was executed by hanging and burning. Estimates over how many children he killed vary from about 100 to 600.
Oh my God.
And the reason I'm even covering this story at all is because, like, none of this is true. Well, it could be true.
Katya
What the hell?
Barnhart.
It could be true, but let's think critically for a second here. What's more likely, that this guy was killing hundreds and hundreds of children and nobody, like, said anything? Or that this is he was...
The smear campaign?
It was a smear campaign because he was, like, this wealthy, powerful hero and people wanted a piece of the pie.
You tell me. You're the one teaching the lesson. I'm so freaking pissed right now.
Well, the thing
I mean, I'm
is-
glad that it's hopefully not true. But
Yeah. The thing is, so when I was reading all these sources, the sources I read at first all presented this story as fact. But one thing that really tips me off in a story where like I think like that's not true is when we're talking about like human sacrifice and blood libel and like killing kids to like summon a demon. Like that stuff is I venture to say never, or at least almost never, real. It's usually meant to smear someone, or it also has like very racist and anti-Semitic roots, talking about how people like drink the blood of children to stay young or whatever. Like all of it just kind of sounded like that to me. So I was like, is this true? So I Googled like, is Gilles de Rais guilty? And the verdict is
People Magazine. Is Gilles de Rais guilty?
Does the glove fit?
Yeah.
What the inside?
So the verdict is kind of out. People have doubted his guilt since 1443. Yet very, very few publications mention this, much less publications written in English, because most of it about him is in French. And in 1992, the Breton Tourist Board, like,
Who is she?
she's
Breton?
some city in France where some of his castles are.
Oh, okay.
They knew about Gilles, and so they're like, let's commission a biography of him that is just like horror porn and like makes people want to come visit his castles to like do ghost hunting or like for their morbid curiosities. You know, that can be a way to drive up tourism.
So like, let's lie.
No, they didn't think they were lying.
Oh.
Because these stories about him, like
Okay.
he was convicted of these things. These are presented in the historical record as fact. So they're like, let's hire this French writer named Gilbert Pretot and have him write this biography to drive up tourism. But instead, Gilbert Pretot reads through the historical documents and writes a book that argues for Gilles' innocence and says that this was all a smear campaign and has been...
So he pulled a 180 on the people who commissioned him?
He's like, okay, you want a book about him? Well, I'm not going to lie. And this book actually led to Gilles' modern day exoneration.
I would have been like, how much are you paying me?
Right.
I'll lie.
And this guy is like, yeah, I would lie. This
I'll
guy
lie.
is like 600 years dead.
He's gone. He's reincarnated hundreds of times over, maybe. Not
So-
hundreds, but you get it.
What we think happened back in the time of Gilles is that he had this hero status from fighting alongside Joan of Arc. He had this enormous amount of wealth, and the other lords in the area were threatened by that.
Jealous.
They were jealous. And I mean, historically, with witch trials, a lot of times the people who benefit from accusing someone of a witch like are the ones doing the accusing. Like they
Are the witches.
They wanted to acquire his land and property, and also like everyone was talking about how cool this guy was because he fought alongside Joan of Arc. So like let's smear his name so that I'm the cool one now. So we think that they conspired with the church to take him down. And this whole story was fabricated. I mean, maybe he was a bad person. Maybe he did do some of the things he was accused of. But I think if he was really killing and dumping hundreds and hundreds of child's bodies, we would have some archaeological record of that, which to my knowledge does not exist.
Because the gators ate them. I told you guys.
Fed him to the hogs.
I know the truth. I can see.
The Pretot biography was never translated to English, which is why so many of the English sources I read online consider Gilles to still be guilty.
Whoa. And this was in the 1990s that he
was
did
exonerated.
this biography.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The lag is insane. They don't want the truth
They
to be
don't.
out.
I mean, the fantasy version is much more salacious, so I
Yeah.
can see why it makes a better article that's going to get more clicks. But it's simply not the truth. And again, like all that blood libel stuff has really racist origins, and it's just like not good to tout it as fact unless you like it really is, which it never is. So I do want to, before I end, I want to shout out an English writer named Margot K. Juby. And from the time she was a young girl and learned about Gilles in a book, she has been like enamored by this story and has made it her life's mission to clear his name. And so she wrote this book called The Martyrdom of Gilles de Rais, and she spent a really long time writing this book and diving into the historical record. And what she found was a lot of the sources that people use to write about him are secondary sources that pull half-truths or even like fabricate some of it from the original documents. But she went back into the original documents, and her book argues that he is innocent, which I didn't read the book, so I don't have much more information for you than that.
I read the Amazon reviews and the description.
Listen, I read the whole Amazon description and it was long. So
I read
there
the
you go.
first 3 pages that were available for free.
I didn't even do that. But I'm going to say I think he's probably innocent.
I hope so.
Me
Because
too. I choose to believe that for my mental sanity.
The accusations are horrendous.
I know. I was reading all this stuff and I was like, because I thought the Joan of Arc stuff and the Bluebeard stuff like was interesting for the lesson, but I was like, I don't know if like I can do a lesson on a comedy podcast like about some of this subject matter. And then it's like, I don't think this is real. So then it's okay, like it didn't happen.
Yeah, you really surprised me.
Yeah, I know. I felt bad watching your face and like the disgust on your face.
My face drop.
And I'm like trying not to smile. I'm like, this is going to look so bad on the video.
No video cams. Please.
But yeah, I was like, I wasn't torn up about it because I don't think this happened.
The first serial killer.
Jack the
Not
Ripper?
him?
I don't know.
Jack the
I mean, I'm
Ripper.
sure there were many before that, but who knows? Nobody knows who the first serial killer was.
What were you saying about it, like not being true about human sacrifice or something?
Like when, like, for example, the whole like pedophile cabal of Hollywood and like sacrificing children to get power, like those stories are used to slander people and create like a cultural outrage rather than like they're almost never embedded in truth. Obviously, we have historical examples of human sacrifice, but they're not in this like salacious demon worshipping bloody way that they tend to be portrayed in media.
Okay. I thought you were saying this story can't be true because they mentioned a demon. And I was like, well, they
No.
probably mention demons all the time. That doesn't mean it's fake.
No, some details just like definitely raised alarm bells for me, and they've raised alarm bells for many other folks too.
Okay.
The way I'm so dumb sometimes, I would have been like, oh my God, this is freaking insane. I don't doubt any of it.
Well, it's like Elizabeth
just Epstein
Bathory, right?
Island.
You know,
Who?
Elizabeth Bathory, like the woman, the blood countess who supposedly murdered thousands of children, like bathed in their blood. Like that's bullshit too, but it's still presented in a lot of sources as if it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second you said he invented the Chapel of Holy Innocents, I was like, that guy killed kids.
I mean, he very well may have,
But
just probably not to the scale that of like hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so many, I feel like Catholic institutions have names like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A typical name.
Sound pretty normal.
Anyway, that was my lesson on Gilles de Rais.
Great job. I'm
you.
still shocked.
We'll be right
Yeah,
back.
I guess we didn't say anything.
Haley, I'm ready to drink a cocktail and Zoom with my best friends.
Just zoom in, me and the girls.
Are you a girl? Do you like Zooming? Do you like cocktails?
You might enjoy cocktail hour.
Cocktail Hour takes place every first Friday of the month at 7 p.m. Central, and it is coming up this Friday.
Tomorrow, as you're hearing this, as it's being released, which I know all you little bitches are listening the minute it comes out.
And if you're not, you don't belong at Cocktail
You're
Hour.
dead to me.
Just kidding. We love you.
Yeah,
but
come
if
to
you
Cocktail Hour.
are a Patreon or want to join Patreon today, you can join us at our Cocktail Hour. We will post the Zoom link, and we will be there or be square.
Zoom in. We got the Zoomies. We'll see you guys there at 7 p.m. Central. Bye.
Bye.
Hello. Welcome back.
Hi.
As you know, we're learning about physical education,
Yes.
aka gym, aka the worst part of my education.
Did you have to wear a gym uniform?
No, we
Oh.
didn't. But some people did in middle school.
Yeah.
I think I got out of it by doing lacrosse, and I had to like do a special waiver to replace.
You didn't have to
gym.
do gym in middle school?
Or maybe it was high school. I didn't have to.
Yeah,
My
in high
junior
school I
and
didn't
senior
have
year.
to because of sports.
Yeah. We had T-shirts. I just remember somebody. Yeah, my sister. They had T-shirts they had to switch into, but then it was
Yeah.
discontinued
Oh.
when I came in.
We had to like fully change clothes. Like we had to wear these red T-shirts that like said our name on the front because
Yeah, why did they say the name?
well, in our case it was because gym class had like 90 kids in it, and the teachers like had to like see who you were because they didn't. I guess it took
But
them.
why? It doesn't even matter, right? You don't get a grade.
Yeah, you do. You get a grade for gym. Like
you
if-
got a grade?
Yeah, but it's participation based. But if you're like, I refuse to like run the laps or whatever, you'd get marked down.
It should just be pass fail, and everyone should pass.
I mean, that's pretty much what it was. But you had to participate. That's how they got you to do it. Otherwise, no one would do it.
Did you ever have to square dance in gym class?
Yes, we had to. We learned square dance, waltz, and salsa.
Okay. Did you have to square dance in?
No.
You didn't? Okay. Well, it is a nationwide phenomenon of doing square dancing in gym class.
Yeah.
Do you know who we have to thank for that?
I imagine it was a first lady.
It was actually Henry Ford.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rings a bell. I feel like you may have touched on that in the Fordlandia.
I think
or
I
Ford,
did, yeah.
Whatever that Ford world is called.
Fordlandia, yeah. And he was obsessed with square dancing. As we know, he was also a racist, anti-Semitic,
Yeah.
and hated jazz. So he started this campaign of the intersectionality that was jazz music in the 1920s. He conveniently ignored the fact that square dancing literally evolved on the backs of enslaved people.
Oh.
Since they were required to perform at white dance balls.
Oh.
So they would like call out the moves and things for enslaved people to perform the dances.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I also learned that this week. But Henry Ford thought, like, what is the most white, wholesome thing that I can get American kids doing that will deter them from jazz? And he was like, square dancing.
Okay.
So him and his wife started this campaign to get square dance lessons in every American gym class.
I mean, it is fun. I thought it was fun. This is the best part of gym.
Boo. Well, you can thank Henry Ford for that.
Okay.
He thought that it would teach students social training, courtesy, good citizenship, and rhythm. Did it do any of that for you?
I mean, I like the idea that we're incorporating dance into physical education. Like, you should have more options to move your body than just sports.
For sure, yeah. I
don't love the way the reason
Yeah.
that he wanted it, but I think it's important to integrate the arts into education. So I'm supportive of teaching dance in school.
Yeah.
But we should also teach not just square dancing.
Yeah. And gym shouldn't be compulsory, in my opinion.
I don't know. I think it should.
I think that there should be a lot more options for a well-rounded education, and gym can be one of them. But
I mean, some kids don't learn about exercise or nutrition from their families, so it's important that they're exposed to that in school.
Yeah, and if it's done the right way, which
usually
we'll learn about the history of it.
Yeah.
But as far as square dancing goes, by 1928, 50% of American schools had institutionalized square dancing.
Okay.
It still lasts to this day.
Yeah, Alec, I'm surprised they never made you square dance.
There was no dancing.
Really?
At all.
We had to learn the cha-cha slide.
Yeah. We learned the Thriller dance. Michael Jackson.
That's fun.
It was really fun. And then it became my party trick to do at weddings because I knew
Every
the entire
step.
Thriller dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my friends in 6th grade, did you guys hear that? I burped.
No.
I didn't hear
Okay,
it.
that's good. It was like coming out as I was talking. My bad. But anyway, some of my friends in 6th grade were going to do the Thriller dance in the talent show, and I was too socially anxious and nervous that I didn't do it with them.
Yeah.
And that's one of my life's biggest regrets.
It's a fun dance and it's very easy. There's a lot
Yeah.
of this.
And yeah, the Velociraptor
Yeah.
arms. Or T-Rex arms, I guess, more
Yeah.
so.
Zombie arms.
Yeah, zombie. Yeah, that's what they're called. So we've all survived gym class. I feel like it is a rite of passage. And according to a U.S. Department of Education study of about 2,700 students, 72% of students said physical education classes are fun, and 67% said gym makes them feel happy.
How old were these students?
Various ages, but I think probably more so like middle, high
Yeah.
school.
I
Yeah.
remember gym being fun in middle school and everyone liked it. And then once you got into high school, it was like, fuck gym class.
Oh my God, I always dreaded it. I just wanted to go to art every day.
Yeah, I loved art. I didn't take art in high school though.
Really?
Just middle school.
Oh, I loved art in high school. But I would have definitely been in the minority for this study. So grab your doctor's excuses and let's learn about the history of physical education. So before...
Can you pause real quick?
Yep.
It crashed the video.
Oh, okay. Before American physical education took root, physical training was the thing to do. For a long time, there was the Olympics, and I didn't know this, you probably did, but the Romans rained on that parade. They shut it down in the year 934, and athletic competitions...
The year 934.
Yeah.
1934.
No, 934.
Oh, 900. Okay. I was like, why is she saying it like that?
934, the year.
Okay, that one. Got it.
In the same type of athletic competitions of that sort wouldn't be seen again until the 19th century. So most physical endeavors for the fun of it and the health benefit were more so geared towards military training. Physical activities that were popular included throwing heavy stones, jumping, all different sorts of jumping. People love to jump. Running, gymnastics, swimming, rope climbing, digging.
Fun.
Digging, anyone?
I'll dig in my garden.
We dug a hole. No, let me say this. My brother dug a hole when we were in elementary school just for the fun of it. And then we just kept going and going for like 2 weeks in the summer. And it got so deep, my dad was like, well, y'all dug a hole. Let's just make a little pond.
Fun.
Yeah. So then we had a little pond in our backyard because we randomly dug a hole. Yeah. And then I fell in it one winter, fell through the ice.
In kindergarten, my friends and I became obsessed with digging a hole on the playground because in our minds, we thought we could like make an underground society.
Absolutely.
And we used wood chips to dig this hole, and we had to do it secretly because the recess teachers didn't like us digging a hole for obvious reasons.
They don't want to get kids with twisted ankles.
No. So we had to form like a whole lookout system and like only dig.
So fucking official.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nothing is better than some freaking kids.
We really thought it was going to be
a hole.
like an underground city where we could just go. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it was just
and
a
you would
small
live
hole.
there forever with your friends.
Yes, and we could escape.
Good. Escapu. Okay, so they were digging. They were also boxing and wrestling. Fast forward. We're gonna skip all. They're doing athletic shit, but fast forward to the 1800s in America, and the main focus for those who are receiving an education, i.e., white, wealthy males, was gymnastics and hygiene.
Cute.
Yeah. Massachusetts
Boys need that.
They really do. And they need to be taught it.
Yeah.
It needs, I think, to be like hammered into their skulls. Are all boys
Hygiene
like that?
and also flexibility.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever asked a boy if they can touch their
Guys,
toes?
it's not
and they
gay
can't
to stretch.
Yeah.
It's okay to do some yoga every once in a while. If you can touch your toes, just imagine all the other things you could do.
So many possibilities.
I feel so good when I wake up in the morning and stretch. It like makes me come to life, you know?
Yeah. I like to crack my neck in the morning. That's my stretching.
I'm so cracky. I'm like a fucking glow in the dark stick in the morning when I wake up.
Feels so good. Crack your whole spine and your neck.
Oh, fucking amazing. And it wasn't always this way. It's like as I get older, the more cracky I get. What is with that?
It's when you have to start buying like specialty pillows and mattress toppers to just
I've
get
been
through the
looking
night.
into a triangular prism pillow because I'm already kind of like propping myself up, kind of layering. I'm like, well, I just buy one pillow that does that.
I really recommend my knockoff pillow cube that I have.
Yeah, you need to send it to me.
It's really good. I'm a huge fan.
We could be sleep ambassadors.
The number
really
of
could.
sleep products I use and love
Every day.
I need an
cannot go to
Amazon
sleep.
store.
Yeah, you do. And you've influenced me with the sleep mask.
Sleep mask is so good.
The satin pillowcase is essential.
Yep.
Is it silk? Silk, satin?
Silk is preferred. Satin is like the plastic version of silk.
Well, I get satin, so.
Mine is silk,
is
but
what
it
it
wasn't
is.
that expensive. So sometimes I wonder if it's fake silk.
Who knows? Who cares? It works. But regardless, so the men were focusing on their gymnastics and hygiene. Massachusetts was the first state to make education compulsory in 1852, and that included gym class. I was kind of amazed to learn that gym class was there on the ground floor of education.
It feels very American. I'm not surprised.
Well, Charles Beck was the first PE teacher in America, and he was actually from Germany.
Wow.
He taught at the Round Hill School in Massachusetts, and it was one, if not the first oh my God, I cannot speak. So he did that, and then one of, if not the first physical education system for women specifically came out of the Hartford Female Seminary for women. At the seminary, the main goal was to train women to become mothers and teachers.
Cute.
But they did incorporate physical education, as the founder believed that women wearing corsets and eating poorly, that would affect their health negatively.
So
which
true.
Makes sense. So some exercises suggested for women at this time included practicing their curtsy and properly placing their arm in the crook of a man's elbow.
That's my kind of exercise. If that's what exercise is, I can do that.
I can do it all day long. You don't even want to know how many curtsies.
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, I'm so there's just a skill to it. You have to loop in the arm and
It's
place
gotta
it
seem
delicately.
effortless.
Yes. Yeah, it's natural. You're wooing him
Yeah.
as he's trying to woo you, but you're planning it all out.
Yeah, you have to be in control.
Always. So I already said that part. And as much as I hated gym class, it should be an option. Again, I don't know about requiring it, but that's not what Dr. Edward Clark thought. He adamantly opposed physical education for women because it would, quote, cause too many problems and impede the growth of women's reproductive organs.
How, sir? In what way?
Because the boys are better at withstanding schooling and exercise in general. Women are too weak. They're biologically different.
They're
So
weak
he
because
thinks.
you don't allow them to exercise.
Yeah.
They're weak in the way I'm weak,
It's
which
a
is very
snake
weak.
eating its own tail. Overall, the first school system to implement PE system-wide was in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, hey, ground floor.
California followed suit in 1866, passed a law which required twice daily exercise
Wow.
for physical or public school students.
That's too much.
It's too much. I think we always did our, what are they called? Extras, basically, the arts.
yeah.
And it switched every day. So it was like one day was gym, music, library, art.
Even in middle school?
No, not in middle
Yeah,
school.
in
but
elementary school, yeah.
In middle school, you had whatever you had
Yeah,
every
every day.
Yeah. So physical education had become a staple in American education, and universities started offering it as a focus for their education majors too. World War I comes around, and the government finds that 33% of recruits were, quote unquote, physically unfit for combat. So they pour more money into the PE classes, but still many of the programs were later eliminated due to limited funds. And we've got, the Great Depression coming down the line eventually. But those who did get the pleasure of gym class in the 1920s got to participate in a more extreme version of dodgeball. In fact, the game was referred to as murder ball and killer ball.
Oh.
A 1922 PE guide outlines the version of this game where one team stands in a circle and another team forms in the middle of the circle. The outer circle is then given medicine balls.
Medicine balls?
Medicine
like
balls.
the heavy as fuck ones?
The heavy leather, plastic, rubber coated 10 to 12 to 15 pound medicine balls.
Okay.
And what they're to do is to hit the people in the inner circle with the medicine balls.
Oh my God. I don't even think I could throw one.
I saw a TikTok video where one girl was working out and her friend was helping her. She gave her the medicine ball and the girl just dropped it immediately.
Yeah.
She was not expecting it at all. They are not something to mess around with. The objective of this game was to see which team could knock down the other team completely faster. So it was a timed event and you're just chucking it at the inner circle.
That is so dangerous.
I know.
I wonder if when they switched to those rubber, because I feel like we went to rubber balls and then rubber balls were too dangerous. So they went to those foam balls
Yeah.
to play dodgeball. And our parents' generation was calling us pussies for using the foam balls, but then
Turns out you
their
guys are the
parents
pussies.
were probably calling them pussies for
Yeah.
using the rubber balls.
Everyone's just a
Everyone's
flower
a pussy,
petal.
and we can all be proud of that.
Sorry.
It's a good thing to be.
As we grow older, we go softer. It's fine. World War II made the U.S. government realize again American citizens were not nearly as fit as their international counterparts, specifically the Soviet Union.
Have you seen the videos of kindergarten basketball competitions in China?
Yes.
Oh,
Have you seen the ones
my
where
God.
they're all in a line and they're dribbling?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Coordinated.
And it's like to music.
Yes.
It's incredible.
And then they just pan out and a bunch of kids are like playing recess. Like this is just a normal
This is just what
drill.
they do. American children
What?
could never. Like,
They don't have enough respect for their elders to even be organized.
like get in a line. I don't think so.
I don't think so, ma'am. Yeah, those videos are very impressive.
Yeah.
We could never.
No, I could certainly never.
I remember I bought one of those lines that had, it was like a rope for my preschool special education class, and it had it was fabric and had fabric handles on it
to walk in a line.
Exactly. That shit did not work.
Seriously?
At all. No. Not at all. They like turned into a U, and the kid at the back of the line was going faster than the kid in the front, and they didn't understand the concept, and they don't know where their bodies are in space and time.
There was a daycare in like my college neighborhood where they must have like either picked the kids up this way or like walked them to the park every day or something. But they had like a bunch of little kids, like daycare kids, and they had one of those ropes, and they would just like walk them like to the park every day from the daycare center, and they were all holding the rope. So it was very cute.
It's so freaking cute. I wish it would have worked. And then the last time I used it was for our field day, and it was like the third time we even tried to use it. And we went out to the field with it. Forgot it there as we're like just trying to make it inside to the AC at the end of the day. And I'm going to my car at the end of the day, and I see that the massive lawnmower is out and they're trimming the field. No. So I'm like, oh my God, I hope that
Not my
rope doesn't
rope.
fuck up the lawnmower. Rest in peace, rope. You were good to me. Somebody bought that for me from like Amazon.
Oh, really?
For one of the school years. So sorry, guys.
It did what it could.
Which was not much. I mean, it had great potential, but I think it was user error more than anything. So yes, American students still are maybe not comparing super well, at least with basketball skills and Chinese kindergartners for sure. And in the 1950s, Dwight D. Alzheimer. Eisenhower was scared shitless from the American students' results of the Krauss-Weber test. Dr. Hans Krauss and Bonnie Pruden were these two fitness fanatics who met while rock climbing in the 1930s. They became good friends and developed this test that supposedly measured fitness through a series of exercises like leg raises and sit-ups. So in the 1950s, the test was administered to 4,000 American school children and 3,000 children in Switzerland, Italy, and Austria. Only 8% of European children failed. Do you want to guess the percentage of American children that failed?
76.
Not so bad, only 58.
Okay.
58
So
did not pass. In a sit-down with the president, Eisenhower, Pruden warned him that many youngsters have no bodies.
Well, they do have bodies.
And that's
I hope.
false. They do indeed have bodies. We're not just ghosts in the stratosphere.
If only, but unfortunately we have bodies.
I'm just an orb in the world. So Eisenhower launches the President's Council on Youth Fitness the next year. The physical fitness concerns were passed from Eisenhower to Kennedy, and in the 1960s, Lyndon B. Johnson introduced the Presidential Physical Fitness Awards program.
Do you remember taking those presidential fitness tests?
So much. It is burned into my memory. No, I can't.
The pull-up one was the worst because I could never do a pull-up. And
I could never do a pull-up. And it was like, obviously I can't do a pull-up, but the sit-ups and the push-ups were really hard. I think
I liked the sit-ups. I could do
still have
that.
no core strength. I don't then. I don't now. I didn't then. I probably never will. I'm not that motivated.
I feel like when we were in elementary school, they would get us to do a real pull-up where you're hanging. And then in middle school, they did pull-ups where you're like laying on the ground and the pull-up bar is like low enough where you can reach it from the ground. And then you pull up while your heels are still on the ground.
Oh.
And that was a lot easier, obviously.
I can't even picture that. So you pull up and like your shoulders just come off the ground?
I mean, your shoulders and your whole body. You pull up and you keep your body really straight so that your heels are just touching the ground by the time you're pulled up.
How do you reach it?
You can reach it from the ground.
Yeah, I can't picture this at all.
Okay.
But that's okay. I believe you. So we all remember this. And if you were in school between 1966 and 2012, you most likely had to take the presidential fitness test as well. Only the top 15% actually got the award. And the award was still pretty shitty at that. It was just like a plaque. And it
I
was
got
like,
the
"You
award
got it."
once.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait,
I was
what'd you
sporty as a
get?
child.
What did you get?
Nothing.
Oh,
just
you didn't
like
actually get
you-
anything?
you, like,
Some schools like put their names on the walls.
I don't think so. I think it was just like they like read our names.
Yours
like,
did it.
They read the names of the ones who passed.
That's not worth it to
No.
me. And while this test was supposedly based on the Krauss-Weber test, which focused on the core, developing arm strength, and improving flexibility, the American version more so resembled military training. Fitness professionals had come together. They were brought in to develop this test, which consisted of pull-ups, sit-ups, standing broad jumps, the shuffle run, a 50-yard dash, softball throw, and a 600-yard run.
Yeah.
There were a few slight changes over the years, but it has stayed pretty consistent. Naysayers of the test argued that it was not beneficial at all for actually improving the fitness of American youth, but lawmakers were like, it's already too far gone.
We just need a standardized test for everything. So
Including
clearly we're going to
fitness,
use this.
because everyone should be the same.
Right.
And do the same thing and have the same exact capabilities.
Yeah, that's so true. That's weird. That is weird. Was there at least like a gender distinction?
No.
Oh, it was
One
just like
size fits all,
everyone's
baby.
expected to do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone's expected to do the same thing. When Kennedy got to office, he incentivized students by offering those who passed the test carrots.
Yum.
I'm only eating carrots with ranch. No, I'm not eating plain raw carrots.
So true.
No,
Ranch
ma'am.
or mustard.
Ranch or mustard. There you go. Under Lyndon B. Johnson, those in the top 15% were given that Presidential Fitness Award, and the test lived on for decades, inspiring American public school children to dread. Or if you're in the top 15%, like you,
Maybe I feel like I was in elementary school.
you probably
I
were.
feel like I have that memory, but maybe I'm making that up. I definitely wasn't winning any fitness awards in like high school.
And then like the relays where you go back and forth, like you just did
Yeah.
that until you wanted to drop out, right? That's how we did it. It was like there was an audio that played and it was like beep and you would go. And then you waited till you got the next beep and then you would go and you could just go back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And however many times you got was what counted.
Yeah. I think you're right. I vaguely remember that. It's so weird.
Yeah. Ugh. It's giving me nightmares. Okay, so brief side quest before we close out. In the same area as this presidential hell test was taking place, physical education in college was also getting kind of wacky. You may have heard of this before, but in the 50s and 60s, incoming freshmen at Harvard, Yale, and other Ivy League schools were required to have their picture taken in the nude.
What?
So you haven't heard of this. Okay.
No.
So they're in the nude and they place pins on various parts of their bodies in order to analyze their posture. And if they were determined to have poor posture, as I'm like sitting up
Yeah,
right now,
I'm like adjusting my posture right now.
if they had poor posture, they had to take remedial posture training classes in college.
Oh my God.
This was all part of a study that looked into how body types are related to personalities.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So this odd, invasive, and complete junk science study was exposed in 1995.
They were doing it until 1995?
I think so. I don't know exactly the year that it
What?
ended, but not before people like Hillary Clinton, Meryl Streep, and George H.W. Bush
W.
were photographed themselves.
Wow.
And you can look up pictures. I have yet to be able to find any like celebrity pictures, but if you just look up like posture test Ivy League, you'll see them with all their like pins in the back and stuff.
What do the pins do?
I would imagine acupuncture or just I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're supposed to go in a straight line.
Weird.
I know. Super, super weird. Red flag. But anyway, to close out this lesson, the presidential health test was eliminated when Obama came into office in 2012. He
Great
replaced-
president for so many reasons.
Thank you,
And this is
Obama.
the top of the list.
We miss you.
Thanks, Obama.
He did replace it though, so
Oh.
there's still like a test. But it's a more comprehensive program to help students improve their own performance instead of a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah, it should definitely be about beating your own score.
Absolutely.
And not
improve like
everyone with different body types and
genetics
and metabolisms.
it
And
makes no sense. Yeah, so
home lives and nutrition is all trying to get this one thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to all of our presidential fitness award winners out there. I'm
Alec,
looking
did
at
you ever win one? I feel like you probably won some.
No, I was always smaller, so I like never could like touch my toes and stuff.
You couldn't touch your toes because you were small?
Or maybe I'm not.
Seems
Maybe
like a
I don't
better
mean
reason
small.
to
Maybe
be
I
able-
mean like it just seems like all the guys were stronger.
Even in elementary school? I feel like I got one in elementary school because I could run fast, but I wasn't like super strong.
Yeah, I just never remember being good at it, but that could
Yeah.
be totally just my mind fabricating. it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the dread that it sets in you still
Yeah.
at almost 34
Yeah,
years old.
Still
turning 34
hurts,
this
Guys,
week. Yeah.
wish Alec happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah. Monday is the big day.
Yes, thank you.
Send Alec some sunglass inspo. Because I bought him a pair for his birthday and they didn't work out. And so now
Did he try
needs
them
to-
on? And
Yeah.
didn't like them?
He didn't like them because they have like those like wire nose things and
Yeah.
those were really uncomfortable.
Well,
And-
I think I have an asymmetrical face, and trying to finagle glasses with the little nose pads to be symmetrical
Yeah.
is tough.
so we're trying to find a different pair that I can get him. So send some ideas.
Send
his
some recs,
way.
y'all.
Yeah.
We all need a good pair of sunglasses, or just a million pairs from the dollar store.
Yeah,
because
that's the
you'll
route
lose
I
them
go.
and break them.
I have a lot of TJ Maxx sunglasses.
Yeah, Target too. Yeah,
They got to be polarized.
I don't
just-
even know what that means.
I don't even like wearing sunglasses, so I don't really.
I love
spend money
wearing
on them.
sunglasses, but I hate having to take them off because I'll have the little marks on my nose
Yeah.
from the pads.
I feel claustrophobic in them, like I can't fully see.
I feel like no one can see me. I like having a third of my face covered. I feel very pretty. Alrighty, y'all. Well, this has been another episode of Night Classy. Join us on Patreon for additional content every single week, month, and first Friday of the month. We have Cocktail Hour, of course. And follow us on TikTok, Instagram. Join the Facebook page. We love interacting with y'all. And we will see you all next week. 3, 2, 1.
Class dismissed.
Nice.
Good work, Hayley.
Thank you.
Great.
You too.
Great episode. I'm sorry I had so many fucking technical difficulties and a loud dog today.
No problemo. 7:31. Not bad. Not bad.